Hello, everybody. My name is Brian Drury, and I want to welcome you to the sixth annual Circle of Excellence event. BMPA is a volunteer-run organization that was created to support our students, staff, and community, as well as support parents and other people in the community. This event was established to recognize staff, students, and community members who sometimes normally don't get recognized in this community. And we want to thank the Bexley City Schools, their staff, for opening up this facility on this day. Especially, it's a very nice day. I get it. Um, and we just really appreciate you sharing and being here. I've got one story to start off, and I want to tell you. So, how many kids do you know about Rip Van Winkle? Raise your hand. Yes. So, as a kid, I thought the whole concept was don't sleep your life away. I was like, okay, that makes sense. But as I read the story again, I found a new meaning. And the story goes Rip Van Winkle fell asleep before the Revolutionary War. And then he woke up after the Revolutionary War. So when he comes to town and he asks the townspeople, hey, what went on? They did not recognize him and his long beard. So they ask him the question, are you for King George or are you for George Washington? And he says, well, of course, King George. He didn't know this George Washington. And so they take him away and they take him to prison. And somebody go, hold on, no, no, no. He's not been here for 20 years. He doesn't know what happened. He doesn't understand the story. So it got me thinking, what if Bexley had their own Rip Van Winkle? Someone who graduated in 2004 and just came back for their 20th reunion. What would they think about the community? Or somebody who moved down to Florida and they came back. What would they think about the changes in town? What would they think about the changes in the school? Would they appreciate our diverse learning PTO? Would they appreciate our DEI director, Dr. Lewis? I see you. Would they appreciate our school board's diversity? Would they like the increased diverse staff and teachers? Would they appreciate our high school senior class going from 7 kids of color to over 30? What would they think about having a minority city council president and police chief? Would they appreciate Dr. Fine's vision for all the students in here? Would they like Mayor Kessler's vision about One Bexley initiative? Would they appreciate BMPA and diverse students groups? Would they like the banners that we put up February? And how would they feel about the Circle of Excellence event? Would these Bexley Rip Van Winkles say, would they celebrate these changes? Or would they say, Bexley's changed too much? I don't like the way we grew up. So it's just a question that in 20 years, the changes that have been made, and what would people think? So without further ado, I want to introduce a long-term friend, Colin Daniels, who's going to provide some entertainment.
Good afternoon, everyone. I feel very honored and privileged. This is the second time I've been asked back. So apparently you liked me the first time. Um, it's so nice to be a part of the growth and the upbringing of our children. They say children are our future, but no, there are today. There's an old African proverb that says it takes a village to raise a child. And this is the village that encompasses child as we harvest and push them forward as they go through their graduations and things of that nature. What I want to bring forth to you is my drumming. Not quite a public speaker. I'm a CPA by profession, but this is my passion. Part of the drummer, this drum is called a djembe. It's made of a live piece of wood and an animal skin on top. It is used in celebrations to enrich a situation, to add rhythm, to add sound, to get us going in the right direction. And I'm going to bring this to you. But as a part of that, I like audience participation because I want you to be with me. And you say, well, I don't have a beat, Cullen. I don't know what's going on. Everybody, if you're here sitting, you got a beat. That's your heartbeat. So if I could have the crowd, if we can do a cadence, a clap. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, let's give him a round of applause. And there, Colin Daniel. One of the things we wanted to do is recognize students who are moving to that next level. And our first up is going to be our fifth graders. And that's going to be that first time where all of a sudden you're like, okay, this is exciting. I get to go to middle school. And we're very excited. So I'm going to bring up our wonderful trio of elementary principals. And so they're going to introduce their students.
Good afternoon. Thanks for being here. We are here to recognize the spirited group of fifth graders who are rising to sixth grade. From Cassingham Elementary this year, we have Nigel Banks, Leah Cargill, Christian Coleman, Diego Custer Edwards, Ethan Gabby Donker, Lilia Gohar, Vivi Lee, Nathan Montgomery, Christopher Porter, Henry Ruanfe, and Sophia Turkow.
Yeah, I know. And also, if the students are here, they're more than welcome to come up and we'll take their picture too with their favorite principal.
Good evening. From Montrose Elementary, we have Cruz Almos, Sonny Dale, Lucy Fry, Nathaniel Hyatt, Keziah McNeil, Nancy Nguyen, Layla Payton, Ryan Payton, Aria Shepard, and Sarah Tadis.
From Maryland Elementary, Nate Brasky, Mari Carter, Delilah Davis, Colette Gentry, Iffy Ignog, Aya Jalak, Caden Lopez, Mick Panij, Aaliyah Pankey, Ayana Pankey, Elliot Plagazzi, Ramaya Steele, Tori Umphrey, Luciano Vargas, Bo Walker, and Anijah Waters. Congratulations to all of our fifth graders rising up.
Thank you so much. Elementary school is one of those places where it's so special, and we have some special principals who are doing a great job. And then also, I wasn't going to say this, but we have a principal that's going to be leaving us. And so we want to give her a round of applause there, Mrs. Hetzel there. And thank you for your multiple years of service. Next up is our new middle school, Mr. Price. Oh, oh, I thought you were gonna come too. You can come. Hey, okay. Okay. All right. I just want to make certain I wasn't missing you.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jerome Price, and I serve as the assistant principal of Bexley Middle School. At the middle school, we have a number of all-stars who consistently show up as academic powerhouses in our classrooms and star student athletes on our fields, but most importantly, individuals who are kind, caring, and compassionate. It's the kind of stuff that continues to make our school the special place it is. Amelia and Joseph, thank you for being leaders throughout your middle school career. We have no doubt that as you move on to high school, you will continue being the leaders you are and grow in excellence. Congratulations. Everyone, please help me with a huge round of applause for two of our many stars, Amelia and Joseph. Mr. Cottle.
I so appreciate, Mr. Daniels opening us once again. He's a accountant that's passionate about drumming. I've been looking for a drummer that's passionate about accounting. I think that would really be something. And, when he was talking about we all have rhythm, like he was looking at me a little too hard. Like I'm saying the words, but I'm not really believing them, even as I'm saying them. So he had me pegged. All right. So I am privileged to recognize our high school students who are graduating this year and all the accomplishments. I'm so proud of each and every one of these students. And so I know some of you are here, and we will have you come up and be recognized. So Ed and Bradley, if you'll come up as I read your name, please. Maria Cantrell and Gonzalez. Lily Jones. Genesis Lumpkins. Ethan Wynn. Ian Roy. Siddharth Sivaraman. Athanasius Young. Oh, you wanted the long walk in. And Miss Holt. Come on up. Not Ruby. Naomi. Sorry, Naomi Holt. Come on up. How do you want to do this? Back over here.
Thank you so much. And thank you having both our 8th and 12th grade students. So one of the things I always like to have for this event is have a guest speaker, somebody who imparts a little wisdom, a little thought provoking. And I'm very pleased to have our very city-owned council president, Monique Lampy, and she's going to introduce our guest speaker tonight.
Hello, everyone. My name is Monique Lamke, and I'm so honored and privileged to be the president of your Bexley City Council. It is my honor to welcome you to today's Circle of Excellence event hosted by the Bexley Minority Parent Alliance. Also in attendance are Sam Marcelino and Alex Silverman, who serve with me on City Council. BMPA has a very special place in my and my family's hearts. Last year at this event, my daughter Madison was the proud recipient of a BMPA scholarship. And as a proud Latina single mom, I was beyond grateful to have that financial assistance with her college expenses. Any good legislator will tell you that serving as an elected official is not an easy job. If they do, they're lying to you. You can't please everyone all of the time, but instead, you can focus on advocating for your residents and listening to what matters to them. Our guest speaker today does exactly that. He's serving as Bexley's Senate representative in the Ohio House for House District 1, where he is in his second term, having first been elected to office in 2020. He also has the distinction of serving as the Assistant Minority Leader in the House. And prior to being an elected official, he served as the Chief of Communications for the Franklin County Treasurer's Office. He grew up in Cleveland, where early on he found a passion for advocacy and public service. He works hard to advance legislation to make Ohio, including Bexley, a better place to live, to work, to go to school, to start a business, and even raise a family. I first met our speaker in the summer of 2022 at Bexley's Pizza and Ice Cream Festival on the lawn of Capital University during our main event. And after I met him, I remember thinking, this guy would never meet a stranger that he wasn't going to try to connect with. He was a great communicator. He was easy to talk to. And most of all, he was kind and decent. In the fall of 2023, so about a year and a half later, I then ran again into our guest speaker, this time at Bexley Starbucks. He told me he was getting his caffeine fill before getting ready to go door to door to meet Bexley residents. And I walked away from that second meeting thinking he truly walks the walk. What a great role model. He continues to find ways to engage with his constituents, including his youngest constituents. For anyone who wants to know, his social media name is I am Dontavius, and he's got some great videos, even on TikTok and Instagram, with information for his constituents, as well as public service announcements. And you'll see his extraordinary communication and caring skills on display. And through it all, he keeps fighting to build a better Ohio and a better Bexley every single day. Our speaker just celebrated a birthday on April 4th. So please join me in giving a belated but a loud birthday round of applause as we welcome your state representative, Dontavius Jarrells, to the stage.
Now, I know we can do a little bit better for that for Council President Lamke. If we can give her another round of applause. Well, it is so good to be in Bexley. How are y'all doing today? Now, hold up. I know I got the mic. I know that we are awarding our amazing scholars. One of the things I want to do is for every single scholar, I need you to close your eyes. Just close your eyes for a second. Just bear with me. Now, imagine for you scholars who have their eyes closed that you in the audience represent all of the community. I want you to give these scholars the loudest applause, whether it's a standing ovation, the loudest applause you can to represent the community that encircles these young people. Let's go. Let's do it. I think we get a little louder than that. I think we get a little louder than that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, let me fix this mic. I'm a little short. Let me just fix this mic a little bit. Give me a second. I got it. I got you. I got you. I got you. I got it.
I didn't want to.
I got it. I appreciate you. It is truly an honor to be here with all of you. So to family, esteemed guests, friends, and the brilliant minds that make up Ohio. It is truly great to be here as we think about the circle of excellence. And when I got the name, I'll tell you a quick story. My team was telling me about what this event, the meeting, and the celebration was all about. I was like, circle of excellence. That has a lot of profound meaning that I'll get into a little later. But to be here with each and every one of you is truly an honor and a privilege. Thank you, President Lamke, again for the great remarks. And yes, I did celebrate a birthday. 36 years old, as I like to say, I'm aging backwards. So I just go 35 and 34, and then keep going. But for those who haven't met me yet, it is great to see you. I hope that we have an opportunity to engage and connect with each other after tonight's or today's ceremony. My name is Dontavius Gerald, as was stated. And I grew up in the Hub neighborhood of Cleveland. And every day that when I walked out of my house growing up, I saw what disinvestment looked like. I saw what it meant to leave a neighborhood behind. And at the time, I didn't really know how to articulate what I was seeing because the education had yet not come. I know I had a lot of life experience, but then to layer it with an understanding of what is systemic oppression and marginalization, and how do we then as a system begin to right the wrongs of history. I didn't know that until I navigated high school and college. And so for many of you who are here, the road and the journey forward is going to be long, and it's going to be a lot of bumps, a lot of bruises, and it's going to be a lot of triumph and resilience. And nonetheless, I learned that excellence comes from within, from in each and every one of us. Doesn't matter how old you are in this room or as young, to be excellent is to know yourself. So when you strip all of the work, everything that I've done away, I'm just a kid from Cleveland, as I like to say. A kid who wanted nothing more than to leave this place better than when I found it. And so when I graduated from college, I went to Hiram College. As people ask me, what is it? Hiram is such a small school. And it's known because if you know anything about one of our presidents, the late, great, well, he actually died he got shot, unfortunately, Garfield, James A. Garfield. He had took office and he got shot. And then he, unfortunately, you all know civics, right? You know, and he ultimately didn't end up being president for a very long time, but he was the president of Hiram before becoming president of the United States. And so that's Ohio's history for you. And so when I went to Hiram, I graduated with a degree in political science economics. And it was there that I really learned how to speak about the system and what it meant from economic, from a political, from a policy lens. How do we really begin to shape communities for the better? And so when I left Hiram, I moved to Columbus, Ohio at the age of 22 years old, and I started work at the Ohio State House. Now, who's all been to the State House? Raise your hand. Okay, okay. That's not normal for rooms I've been in. I'll tell you that much, y'all. It is so good to see many of you have navigated and toured the Ohio State House in one way or another. Um, but so imagine me. I've never stood foot in the State House before actually being hired to work there. And I remember just kind of doing a tour and kind of just taken back by the history and the, I guess, the vintage of the State House. And I was like, you know what? At some point in my life, I would love to work in this building, not just as a fellow, because I was a Legislative Service Commission fellow. I worked for 5 legislators, but also as an elected official. And it was 30 years old when I got the opportunity to ultimately become a state representative and now serve each and every one of you in House District 1. House District 1 is made up of many, many different neighborhoods, including Bexley and Berwick, but it also has Milo Grogan, Franklinton, all of the South Side, German Village, the south part of Linden, Airport. And so when you think about the area near Ohio Dominican, all of that area is mine. Um, and think I said Franklinton and downtown, of course. And so if you were in my office on the 14th floor, I would tell people to look outside, look out into the city, the cityscape. Everything that the light touches is mine. District 1, anything that the shadow touches, Simba, don't go there. That's not my district. It's not my district, right? And people watch in amazement as they're on in my office, and I will encourage many of you to come by if you ever want to. Um, People watch in amazement, like, wow, this is what it means to be a state representative. But that's not what it means to be a state representative. Everything I do in that body is literally the difference between life and death for people. The decisions that we make each and every day, from where your taxes go, what they fund, to how fast you can go on a state highway, whether you are required to wear your seatbelt or text while driving, whether you are able to get a vape, or whether we have tobacco available that is in colorful packaging and has a lot of different flavor. Like, we in the legislature get to decide what it means to be an Ohioan each and every day. And so I always tell folks that I work not just for you, but I work for generations yet unborn. Because when we make laws, it has a ripple effect in our community. Choices are not, or whether they're legal or illegal, right? People make choices about policies or make decisions whether they want to follow rules. And a lot of things can happen, right? And so I'm veered off my speech a little bit because I'll let the spirit move me. Let me get on task here. So one of the things that I wanted to come and talk about is I want to tell you a story. It's a story that really started it for me. It was literally a bus ride home that changed my life forever. I was in 7th grade, and I was one of those kids that had the Rolly book bags. Who has a Rolly book bag? Y'all remember those Rolly book bags? I was that kid that just had put a lot of anime books in it, and my AP math. I put a lot of stuff in my Rolly, and I had it from like 7th grade to like when I graduated. So imagine it's high school. I loved that thing to death, and it had great wheels. It can jump down the steps like I'm skateboarding. Anyway, uh, the reason why I had this Rolly book bag though is because I took 3 buses to get to school in Hiram. I mean, in middle school. It was the east side of Cleveland, and I go to the west side of Cleveland, which is where I went to school, Gary Morgan School of Science. And one morning, or one afternoon, I was coming home, long day, and I was taking my first bus downtown. So it was the 22 is the bus number. And I got on the bus, and everybody was standing up. The bus was crowded, but there was one seat kind of in the middle of the bus. So just visualize this with me. You get on this bus, it's me lifting this book bag up the steps, rolling it through. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Uh, and I found this seat. There was nobody sitting there. It was a woman with some bags on her lap. Everybody was standing up, all these adults. And I was like, I need to take a seat. My feet hurt. Um, so I took a seat next to this woman. Unbeknownst to me, um, the woman who I sat next to was homeless. I didn't know it. I didn't know it actually until a group of other students got on the bus, and these were some students from a more private school. And they got on a bus and they got in the back, and they started heckling this woman. And you would have thought that
everybody was like wearing headphones because no one heard these insults. No one said anything. And they were getting louder and louder and louder. And so as a seventh grader, I sat there and I waited and waited and waited for someone else to speak up. No one did until I did. I remember standing up and saying to these people, to these kids, because they were kids too, you don't know this woman's story. You don't know what she's been through. And so profound. I didn't know where these words came from. I said, you may very well go through the same thing she would go through, she's going through today. And then the students, with almost like just had it on me, right? They quipped back with, "Is that your mama?" Now, now y'all laughing. I was about to fight. You best believe, somebody you call my mama out, we're gonna have some problems. And I remember literally about to taking my book bag, probably was saying no, because it kept falling down. Like, no, get back, about to take my stuff off. And then the bus driver stopped the bus, like just stopped the bus, told these students, get off the bus, get off the bus, get off the bus. And then what happened was really interesting. Everybody started clapping, like, oh my God, thank you. Oh my goodness, you stood up. Great job, great job, great job. I have to tell you, I was so mad because the adults in the room didn't speak up. No one said anything. And I wasn't in the mood for praise. Instead, I had more questions. Why did everyone stay so silent? Why did it take a seventh grader to stand up for this person while the adults did nothing? The woman, meanwhile, who sat next to, I sit next to, didn't say anything to me until we got downtown. She got off the bus, and if you know anything about public transit, you have the front exit and you have the back exit. So I was getting off the front exit, and then she got off the back exit, and she got off the bus. She looked at me, and she just walked over, and she just wanted to hug me. She asked, "Can I hug you?" I was like, "Yeah." Again, I'm a seventh grader. Yeah, I hug. And then she started to cry. She said, "That was powerful for what you did for me." And I think about this moment even today. A life of service is about advocating for those who may not have the means to advocate for themselves. That one should be considerate of the needs of all people, to act and to lead. In this moment, I'm reminded of a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when he says, "To serve, you only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love." Students, everything you do in life, do it with love. Love your community enough to fight for it. Love your family and support them. But most importantly, love yourself enough to heal and to be. I learned this early in my life as I was building and trying to figure out how do I build my own community up and think about how I will show up for the community that's put so much investment into me. And this tonight's program, Circle of Excellence, there's so much in the title, as I mentioned earlier, that meets the eye. You see, when you think about a circle, make a circle for me. Make a circle, make a circle, make a circle. You think about a circle, right? It is not just a shape, it is a symbol of unity, harmony, and perfection. The circle has no beginning or end. It represents the cyclical nature of life and of the universe. It's a symbol of openness and wholeness, reminding us all that everything is connected. As you all are celebrated tonight, think about the circle as your guide. Just like the circle embraces all of its points equally, excellence embraces all aspects of your being: your intellect, your creativity, your passion, and your character. To excel, you must strive for balance and harmony in every aspect of your life, just like the perfect symmetry of a circle. The circle also embodies inclusivity and diversity. Just as every point on a circumference of a circle is unique, every individual, every person, every one of us brings something special to the table. Excellence isn't about just competition or comparison, it's about recognizing and celebrating each of your unique contributions that you bring to this community. I'll simply close with this. Your potential knows no bounds, and each of us, each of you, are who we've been waiting for. Whether you are in fifth grade or seventh grade or high school, there is a place for you to lead, to serve, and to be. Because without you, Ohio would be simply less good. So I'm proud of you tonight. I would love to get a selfie with each of you or with all of you as a collective at the end, because I got to put it on my Instagram. Um, the path to Ohio, to a better Ohio, really starts with each and every one of you. Each and every one of you will play a role in what Ohio will look like for the future. And you may not know it now, but at some point in your life, you'll look back at this moment or moments like these, just like I did in seventh grade, to say that was the moment that changed my life. So, a better Ohio starts with all of us. Congratulations. And together we will build the nation in Ohio that we all deserve. Thank you all.
Hold up, hold up, hold up. Thank you so much. So on behalf of our BMPA, we like to present this bag. It was done deliberately of the color from there for some particular reasons.
Gold is my favorite color, y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Wow, that was powerful. Just really, when you think about even kind of when we were talking about the circle of excellence, that probably sometimes I've never really defined, the event and the circle from there, and you really brought it home. Thank you. All right. Well, we have a few awards to present, and our first one is the Thomas Payton Citizen Award. And this award goes to a longtime resident who made contributions to the community. Thomas Payton was at one time one of the largest landowners in Bexley. A former slave, a former Civil War veteran. He came to Bexley. Him and his brother put a farm and owned good part of Central Bexley, which is now Central Bexley. So we recognize that. And the person we're going to announce this is Mr. Wayne Roberts. He'll do the presentation. And wasn't really going to talk about this, but Mr. Roberts means a lot to me. When I was first here, very young person, nice flowing hair I had. I came to him and I said, "What's going on with this town? I want to move." He's like, "Give it time, give it time." And I've given it time. It's been a long time, but he convinced me. He said, "You're going to do some good things in the community, and I want to publicly thank you for doing that."
Good afternoon, everyone. I need for the youngsters here to do me a favor. You wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the efforts of your parents. So would you please stand up and give your parents and teachers a nice round of applause, please? Let's hear it for your parents. Show them some love. You know, working in government back in the day, it always amazed me how people before me always took my stuff, always talked about a village to raise a child, talked about the sense of community. But one thing we left out is if you close your eyes and play Rip Van Winkle, what would Thomas Payton think about today? How would he see the city of Bexley? We're here, I'm here, Shane is here because we wanted a better opportunity. We saw Bexley as that, but it took the elders to point out to the youngsters, and I say the elders because I'm very old, believe it or not, to point out that we all can make it a better place. The person that I'm about to introduce is one of those elderly persons that I met here because of her granddaughter who ran track, needed some additional attention, and so I met her on Sundays for an hour. This year's recipient, following me because I got it last year, is Hattie Hutchison. Is Hattie here? Hattie and my family go way back. She went to Central High School, my beloved country. So our families are well connected. I really love to present you with this.
Okay, yeah, well, yes, here you go. It's heavy.
I
Sit there. All right, we'll make sure you don't drop it. I ain't got no insurance on this.
Okay.
Okay. I had a very long speech to make, and every time I read it, I took out a part. So now I'm down to a half sheet. Not because I have a lot to say, but because at this age, you leave nothing to chance. For those of you who do not know, Thomas Payton is believed to have been the first African American who bought land in Bexley. He was not the first resident, but he was the person who purchased, the first person who first purchased land. I don't have that distinction, but I have been around for a long time. And I'd just like to say thank you to the Bexley minority parents for bestowing this honor upon me. One thing that I've learned in my 50 years in Bexley is that you cannot be a good citizen without being in the presence of good neighbors and a good community. In my 50 years, I have been blessed to meet many, many Bexley faculty, and especially those people close that I call neighbors. And so on behalf of my neighborhood and all those residents that I have met along the way, I am honored to accept this award. Thank you.
Our next award is the Kim Rhodes School Staff Award, and Dr. Fine's going to present this award. We have a lot of great staff, and we wanted to make certain that they had a chance to be recognized. Dr. Fine? So a huge thank you before I begin. It's an absolute honor to serve as a superintendent of Bexley City Schools. And I think this is a great example of that, of why. It's about great people. And we have great people uh, on our staff. And I see our Board of Education members here. I know everybody couldn't be here, but I see Dr. Baker, Joanne Pickrell, who's our Vice President, Victoria Powers, I don't know if she's in the space, Mike Carter, and Patrick King, but also great students. Students that come to school uh, looking to be impacted and to make a change. And you throw in an incredible community, and that community led by the people in this space. And when you get to follow my dad, I said, yeah, I've got an event today, and I'm following an absolute legend in Coach Roberts. And I love that Coach Roberts is able to share time with us and to share stories that you have been impacted and that the amount of lives that you've impacted. But we're not here without the BMPA, led by Brian Drury. Brian Drury is a superstar. Yeah. I am so thankful for the guidance of Brian Drury. My dad always taught me to be a listener. When you're in the presence of greatness, listen and learn. And that is what I love. I get to wake up in this community, come to work with amazing people, and learn and listen and grow. And I'm thankful for that. But I'm really excited to present the Kim Rhodes School Staff Award. I had the pleasure of working with Kim Rhodes. Kim Rhodes is a legend. I had the pleasure of working with Kim Rhodes in Upper Arlington until she retired in 2006. She taught American history to 8th grade students. Kim was well known for introducing concepts around equity issues to her students who had never had a teacher of color prior to the 8th grade. In her own words, Kim said, I always taught my students history through the eyes of a woman, person of color and knowledge, but most of all by example. I wanted to show how people should be treated and respected in our ever-changing society. After Kim retired in '06 from Arlington, she spent most of her days here in Bexley as a substitute teacher. She was beloved in these halls, both at the elementary, middle, and high school. And she subbed and loved everything about Bexley until she tragically passed from a long and courageous battle with cancer in 2022. One way we honor Kim's contribution to Bexley City Schools is through the annual Kim Rhodes School Staff Award. And just like Kim, this year's recipient is a warrior. She has led and guided Montrose Elementary for the past 3 years. Yeah. This world-class educator is full of compassion and empathy and is faithful to our educational mission of learning with curiosity, demonstrating kindness, and embracing equity. She centers every decision on what is right for students, and she approaches her job with incredible empathy, love, and care. She believes in connecting with those around her and is firm on her morals and values of respect, compassion, and equity. Most importantly, she's a world-class mother to 2 beautiful young ladies. She has a beautiful spirit, and it shines every day in her interactions within the Bexley community. I cannot think of a better human being to honor today than our amazing Montrose Elementary principal, Miss Naisha Clayton.
Coach Roberts, Dr. Vine took my speech. So before I start my thank yous, um, I need to acknowledge my staff because I did not know they were going to be here. So thank you. Thank you so much. I have my phone here with everything I want to say, and I opened it up while Representative Jarrell was talking, and I opened it up to add something about my staff. And as I opened my phone, my watch went off, and it said, "Your heart rate has increased by 120 at 4:27 p.m." So that is the reason it happened. I did not need to add anything because my phone and my watch said thank you. So thank you, Montrose staff, for being here. It means a lot. Thank you, BMPA, Dr. Fine, and my colleagues for recognizing me with an award that was created in honor of such an impactful educator, Kim Rhodes. I didn't have the experience of working with Kim, but I'm so glad that many of you did. As I prepared for this, I sought to honor her in the best way that I could. I reached out to peers, asking them to share words, stories, characteristics. I heard things like, she was fierce, trailblazer, incredible, proud. She taught with passion, and she wanted to make sure that all voices were heard. And while listening to a podcast, I heard Kim talk about being humble enough to know that she didn't have all the answers. And so with this award, we celebrate the power of great teaching and learning. As a woman, as a Black educator, and as a trailblazer. I do not take for granted the magnitude of the position I hold. I am forever grateful to lead students, staff, and community of Montrose Elementary. And Ms. Rhodes, as I continue to do this work and continue to foster this circle of excellence, I will lean on you and I will lean on others for your strength, your perseverance, and your compassion. For we know in this world of education, we will have our challenges, but our rewards are far much more greater. Many of them are sitting in front of us today. Thank you.
Wow. Our next award is to recognize an alumni who's gone on to do great things after they graduated from Bexley High School. It's named after Bowles Ford, who was one of the first African American male to graduate in 1929 from Bexley. And the kicker, he was also the first athlete because he ran track, like our current track coach, Mr. Roberts. And I was thinking, how would Mr. Roberts dealt with Bowles Ford? Would he made him better? But I found he had some great records here in 1929. Okay, it was the first 5 years of the school, but he set some records. But he also went on to do great things. And Bowles Ford has a park in Savannah, Georgia, named after him, as he was the first city council person of color in Savannah, Georgia, that graduated from Bexley High School. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our coach, Shane Roberts.
I too have notes on my phone, so let me open it up real quick. And to answer his question, I probably would have yelled "move" about 3 times every race. I It gets everybody's attention, and if you ask Athen, makes you run a little bit faster. So, before, and he also took a lot of the notes that I had about the Bulls Ford Award, but um, I am a Bexley kid too. And what I wouldn't be able to stand up here if it wasn't for the fact my father and my mother, and I'm about to cry, moved us here so we could have a better education and a better chance in the future. So, Dad, thank you very much. This year's award winner is a senior project manager at AAP. She has been one of the key alumni who have been helping the BMPA Alumni Selection Committee to award our scholarship winners. She is a 1983 Bexley graduate who was one of the first Black field hockey players in school history. She was involved with drama club, ran track, cheerleader, student council rep, orchestra, and Russian club. And I thought I was just tired from having a track meet and 2 meetings today. Um, Also, she is a graduate of Stanford University and University of California at Berkeley. This year's Bowles Ford Award is Janine White.
This is so nice. And I'm old school too, so I have cards. I know you kids have never seen cards, but this is what we used to have to do for papers and speeches and everything else. So thank you, BMPA. I am honored to be here. I am honored to be able to support this organization and humbled to receive this award as a proud alum of BHS. And rarely do I correct people in this direction because it's going to make me sound older, but actually, I'm from class of 81. I know that's quite all right, you know. And I appreciate the introduction. It makes me sound like I really did something when I was here, so I appreciate that. What I wanted to communicate, and I was actually struck by Brian's introduction because I did graduate from here, went to school on the West Coast, stayed a long time, came back what seems like just yesterday, but now it's been a few years. But I do feel like the Rip Van Winkle. Um, I still am attached and to this school, to the city from before, from my experiences growing up here and going to school here. And I realize I need to know more about who the school, who the city is now. But what I did want to do was share, and particularly with the students, what my experience was even then. And even then was so far back that I don't even think it's in your history books. Um, but my family came to Bexley in 1969. I was the only minority kid, not just in all of Cassingham. I do believe it was in all of the school, well, save I think one person in the high school that I never knew. Um, but at 6 years old, you don't really realize what that means, right? You just were happy to go to school. I was, and strive for excellence throughout. So I loved growing up in Bexley, both the city and in the schools. But as an adult, I've come to appreciate how I was provided or I received the same opportunities and expectations to learn, participate, build confidence, and succeed as every other student. Um, I never felt unwelcome. I never was mistreated. I never heard anything about girls not supposed to know math, not supposed to be good at math. I didn't know that African Americans weren't supposed to have the capacity to be engineers. I never was fed any of that here. It was always supportive and encouraging, and sometimes even to a fault. I, would push back, of course, because it meant I had to work harder. Um, Yet, so it did not limit what I could do, and I credit a lot of that to the people, the teachers, and just the heart of Bexley and Bexley schools. So I'm thrilled that there is a BMPA today to visibly and actively advocate for minority students and families, to support and encourage the students in their pursuits, to celebrate the cultures, and to recognize, as we're doing today, the achievements and the goals of the minority students. And so I wish for you all the same love for this city, its people, its resources, its heart that I have, because it has provided great memories, an exceptional education foundation, and a home to which I return without reservation. Thank you.
Our Friend of BMPA Award was formed to recognize individuals and groups who are committed to BMPA's mission. And so, without further ado, I'm going to introduce two of our wonderful executives who sit on the board. Who like, why does Brian? Why am I returning Brian's emails late at night? There, but Courtney Baker and Shreya Ferguson. Thank you.
So my name is Shreya Thompson. I'm one of the board members. Um, I have two students in the Bexley City School District. I have a fourth grader in Montrose Elementary who was super excited to see Miss Clayton. She wants to come up and hug you. I was like, hold on, sit down, and get her later. And then I have a high schooler, junior at the high school, and we are here to present the award for Friend of BMPA. I'll turn it over to Courtney. You want to do? Okay. Hey, working it out, right? So I am Courtney Baker. I'm one of the executive board members of BMPA, and I really do have the privilege of serving with these fine individuals and the community at large. And I just wanted to say really briefly, and I don't have like a speech or anything, but I think one of the themes that you're beginning to see throughout everything is that nobody does this alone, right? Like we all stand on each other's shoulders, we all lean on each other, we're all trying to fight and to make our community as great as we can. And so for us as BNPA, one of the things that we think about is who have our friends been? So I am tasked with giving the award for Friend of BNPA to a wonderful individual. I can't even really say I know exactly what she does or what her title is because she is everywhere. She's got so much energy. She shows up to things. She does diversity job recruiting placement things. She comes to like BMPA meetings. She's just everywhere. And I love her spirit. I love her enthusiasm. I love all the things that she is trying to do to make Bexley City Schools a supportive and inclusive, a diverse place of learning, to really take us into like the next generation. So the award that I am presenting is to Melissa Klosterman Lando, or MKL. Me too, me too, me too.
Thank you so much, Courtney. I really appreciate this award, and it is certainly an absolute honor. I just found out recently that I was going to be honored with this award when Brian contacted me, and just at a time that was so pivotal. And I was just so emotional and crying, and I just couldn't thank him enough. But truly, when you think about this, it's just like Wayne Roberts had shared about Brian, Mr. Drury. Brian, you were here and meant to be here to do good things. And when you think about this 6, 7, 8 years ago, this was not possible or not happening. And think about right now, if somebody said to you, can you go ahead and put together an awards program? And you think, oh, that's a lot of work, a lot of people. And that is certainly what Brian did, and the BMPA and all those invested. So I'd like you to give a huge round of applause to Mr. Bexley, Brian Drury. But it's really Brian that's everywhere. And so, Brian, thank you so much for this honor. But I really could not do this alone without my colleagues. And when you think about that circle, we are a circle together that support each other. And so it is Dr. Fine, it is Jerome Price and Mr. Cottle and Miss Hetzler and Miss Clayton and Miss Nicewander and my colleagues on the executive leadership team, and coming together to make that circle to support the students and the staff in Bexley City Schools. And that is the reason that we are here. So it's an honor to accept this, and to continue the very important work in hiring diverse staff for our students. Thank you. Thank you.
Our second award for the Friend of BMPA goes to Erasing Racism in Bexley City Schools. You have Larry representing, that's going to accept the award on the behalf. Oh, he's way in the back.
And it's not just me. There are lots of other people that are to be thanked for this award as well. And I want to thank Brian and the BMPA for uh, their partnership, and also to the school for their school administration for their partnership with our efforts as well. It was a little over a year ago that a group of parents formed to create Eliminating Racism in Bexley Schools, or ERIBS. And our express interest is really, as a group of parents of minority children, to make sure that our children have a safe place in schools to learn and free of racism. And so we encourage folks to visit eribs.org and join us. We have held several community meetings, and again, talking about the circle. The parents are here for our kids in the school district, and we want to make sure that they understand that. So we've held a number of community meetings, and we are so thankful for all the parents that have come out to those, and all of the kids that have come out and shared their stories. And I also want to thank my fellow parents that have worked really hard to move this group forward, and we continue to work with the school district and make this the best environment for our kids. And I do want to say as well that something that Representative Gerald's mentioned about standing up on that school bus. I know that a lot of our kids stand up for themselves in our school district. And one thing that I want to make sure, and that our group wants to make sure also, is that that weight of racism and bullying and being made to feel as othered in our school system isn't always on their shoulders, not fully on their shoulders, because it shouldn't be. And we hope to help lighten that load with our group. So thank you, Brian. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the school district.
Thank you so much. I just realized 10 years ago, um, I was the athletic booster president for Bexley. And I sat on the stage, and somebody said, "Hey, Brian, I did not see one minority student get a scholarship award. There were some awards, but there was no monetary award." And I didn't know if they were saying that, as, "Hey, what are you going to do about it?" or what. But I said, that's got to change. And so, with the help of the community, PTO, people going to arts, we this year are giving out 8 scholarships. And I'll put that in a little bit of perspective. Outside the school district and the Bexley Women's Club, we're number 3. So, with that being said, please I want to welcome our scholarship winners. Come on up, and their presenters. So we're gonna have everybody come on stage, and more importantly, I got some checks. The first award is from Cassingham with the Club Pride Award. Come on up, everybody. All right. So let's do let's do the Cassingham Club Pride Award. Okay. All right. How about we go to Maryland Elementary PTO? There. That's okay.
I'm Ryan Gebhardt, and I am Secretary of the Maryland PTO. And we are pleased to offer 2 scholarships to not only Bexley High School grads, but also Maryland grads. And we have also decided as a PTO to indefinitely support this organization for scholarships. And the 2 Maryland grads that we are honoring today are Lily Jones and Ian Roy.
Next up is the NRS Scholarship Award and it's going to be presented by our city councilman, Sam. Yes.
I'll take care. You have the envelope for me? Yeah. Envelope for me? Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you for allowing me to join you all in celebrating these exceptional students. I'd like to congratulate each and every one of you on the accomplishments that you've achieved so far and those that will surely follow. Also, congratulations to the family members and administrators that helped them get here today. As stated, my name is Sam Marcelino, and I'm a 2005 graduate of Bexley High School. I made the joke last year, and I got a couple laughs. So I'll say it again. I was never up here for scholarships. Wasn't that great of a student myself. But here I am today to make sure that we further those that actually do accomplish things. Yeah. My firm has been a part of this great event now for a couple of years, and it's such an honor to award these exceptional students. The student being awarded this scholarship today is an exceptional all-around student. He excelled in the classroom as a mentor and a leader and a student. On the soccer field, as a 4-year varsity starter and 3-time captain. This is in addition to being described as the songbird of their generation, given his participation in vocal ensemble. It is my honor to congratulate Ethan Wynn as this year's NRS Injury Loss Scholar.
Next up is the Joanne Drury Trust Scholarship presented by Isaiah Drury.
Hi, everybody.
Sorry, I had to do it.
Didn't get a haircut this weekend. I apologize. Like you said, this is the Joanne Drury Scholarship Trust Award. This goes to somebody who is looking to pursue higher degrees in education. I myself am a Bexley graduate of 2019 class. Without further ado, this year's winner will be Sidar Silverman. Congratulations.
Next up is our art scholarship award winners. Through the community, we were able to raise $3,000 through the generous donations and purchase of our art scholarships. So, okay, I don't know who's going to do first. Okay, all right.
So we have 3 scholarships that we are able to give out this year thanks to the donations from the art auction. The first one is Genesis L. And then we have Shannon G. And then Monique will announce the third one.
So we meet again. It is my honor to present the third and final art scholarship to Bexley's biggest Harry Styles fan and my niece, Eden Isabella Pratt.
And our last scholarship is the Cassingham Cub Pride Award. And so this is Maria. Let's give another round of applause to these scholarship winners. All right. Make sure he doesn't charge you either. Put it on somebody's bill. To close out this ceremony, met this man a couple years ago, and he's one of those people you're like, okay, there's something special about him. So without further ado, for our closing, well, then we got a drum solo afterwards, so I'll just let you know that. But our honorable Chief Gary Lewis.
Well, good afternoon. I promise. I'm the only thing standing between you and the snacks. So I got to make sure. And so I got to do some housekeeping first, and then I'm going to share a couple of quick thoughts. One, Mayor Kessler wanted to make sure that you know how much he appreciates you, and congratulations to each and every one of the award recipients. He unfortunately cannot be with us. He is with family in Europe, but he did want to send his regards. Second, I've been asked to come out for the Bexley AAPI Festival on Friday, May 10th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Bexley Public Library parking lot. It's new this year, and there will be a Korean dance, a drumming group, and we're going to be welcoming back the popular Ohio Washoe Academy. So there will be food trucks and other things there. And this event is organized in collaboration with the BMPA and Bexley DEI and generously funded by the Bexley Community Foundation. So that's the housekeeping piece. And again, lastly, before my kind of closing thoughts, Mr. Silverman from City Council wanted me to make sure and tell you there's lots of snacks out in the hallway. So do not leave without that. Closing thoughts. Heard a lot today, and I think to myself, is the Bexley today the one that we would want Rip Van Winkle to see and be well represented? People often ask me, what's it like to be the first African-American chief in Bexley? And I focus and I hear the stories today of the first landowner in 1929. He didn't have time to reflect on being the first. His goal was to make sure not to be the last. That's our goal. People ask me about our police department. You know what I tell them? We are more diverse today than we were yesterday. That's the community that we want Bexley to be and is continuing to be. Young people, change the narrative. Change the narrative. That is the key in everything that you've heard today. take away so much as many of you are transitioning and think about what's happening in our country, that you have an opportunity to change the narrative. And again, not to focus on being the first, because we don't have time for that. The goal is to not be the last. I'm honored to be your chief. I'm honored to be able to stand before you in this amazing community. And again, I would be remiss in my law enforcement world if I don't tell you to buckle up and drive safely.
Thank you, Gary. All right. And like I said, there's food out there, but we're going to end with Mr. Daniels, another solo. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's going to lead you out to the food and drinks. So, all right. And thank you so much. Appreciate your time.